stopping you before you miss. My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another piping hot episode of Sippin the Tea, where we
Sip the tea and our guests
spill that tea. 99 cents, and it's out now.
For $3.99.
What's up, girl?
What's poppin', boo?
Hey, glitters.
And little mummies.
All right, imagine a world where we bridge the gap between the 1% and those down on their luck. Ladies and gentlemen, I am blessed to have somebody with us today who is living the Pay It Forward movement. Suzannah Dacre, my love, welcome to Sippin the Tea.
Thank you for having
coming,
me.
my love.
Thank you.
How are you doing this morning?
I am doing well.
Bright and
Yes,
fabulous
I know.
and changing the world.
Exactly. Changing lives and changing the world.
Well, then let's just dive right on in.
Sure.
Okay, so, before you started your business, let's just start from the beginning, your journey of becoming an entrepreneur and kind of where everything all began.
Oh, look, I was raised in a third world country.
Okay.
I was the daughter of a very powerful solicitor, but also a very honest and kind solicitor. I was raised in Papua New Guinea, and conflict was every day there. But my mother, although I was protected, she always wanted me to see the real world and respect the real world. So instead of being at the expat school behind big fences, I was sent to the village school, and everybody in my family was in business. So ultimately, when we migrated to Australia, I settled into the Australian lifestyle, but every single person around me was business, and that's all it came down to. So I had a passion for helping people from a very young age. When I was 14 or 16, went into the health world because we all want to feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
Really pushed the boundaries with that. Anybody that said, I can't do it, I said, yes, you can. Everything is possible. And then after that, I worked with all types of people that were going through all different journeys in life, whether it was disability or illness. And then we ultimately combined all of our talents, be it investment and business, and came up with Ultis Pro.
Well, that kind of segues into, I want you to dig a little deep on what Ultis Pro is, but I want to do it through an example of I'm going to peel back those onion layers and really give us an example of somebody's life, like what they were facing and how you're able to start the shift. Because I think that's important, that it's not an overnight thing and there's many steps to that change. And it can be a little overwhelming when you see the facts and you're like, wow, this sounds too good to be true. So break it down, girl.
Definitely.
Let us know.
Damn.
That is
Spill the tea,
I
girl.
suppose it's a one wall that we face with everybody that inquires with us. It's too good to be true. No, it's not. It is completely real. And we prove it time and time and time again. And one of our clients actually had gone through a very negative, toxic upbringing. The worst that could happen to a child has happened back in the 70s. And then he unfortunately went through a nasty divorce with children involved. Then went through cancer, so terminal illness. What else? Fell off the rails, went through the drug cycle, everything like that. I actually met him when he was homeless. We had a property available, and I always say I'll try everything once. We provided him a house that we had available, and he had one skill, and it was how he was raised, and he absolutely loved the outdoors, but he was also going through chemotherapy at the time. So there was the trouble. You can't do exercise whilst going through chemotherapy.
Yeah.
So what we had to do with him is meet with him, comfort him, pretty much create that relationship of trust, tell him what we do and how we do it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The trust, and then
Even though he goes, too good to be true. Okay, it's all right. We'll take our time with you. It's okay.
That's like the spice of let me show you.
Exactly. Take your time. Take your time. We got him invested smart. Now, the investment, it really is our rule one with people because it shows one, discipline, but usually on day one, once they've joined, they see that it is true. And just their smile goes, this is real. This is absolutely real, and my life is about to change. Now, when I got him through that process of now smiling and realising that we are real, I said to him, you know what? I can make you $10,000 a week mowing lawns. And if you don't want to do it, we can build a team that will do it. And he said, you're crazy. That is not possible. And I said, okay, come back to me when you want to change your life. Come back to me when you want to change your life. Anyway, he did. It was almost like fate rolled in and pushed him forward. And in 3 weeks, he went from being homeless into a house of ours and invested smart. And then on the 3rd week, this crazy idea of a lawn mowing business turned over actually $14,000 in its first week.
Wow.
And averaged $10,000 there and on. Now, our rule is that we work with everyone, any person, no matter what they're going through in life, to help them invest smart, build their life or business. And once they're successful, they have to pay it forward. Wow. So he's gone through this entire journey of life. The worst that could happen to him as a child has happened, then illness, then disability, and everything else came through. And then here I just show up and I'm like, sure, we'll provide you a house. We'll take that chance. We won't give up on you. And that's the biggest thing with these people, is because they feel like they're giving up on themselves and everyone else, or the system, or whatever it is that's meant to be helping them has given up on them.
Yeah.
And they've lost family members, they've lost support because they've made the wrong decisions in life, and no one is perfect. But that first week when the figures were coming in, I think he was actually in shock.
Like, how is this even happening
How is
right
this
now?
possible? It is real. And the pay it forward motion kicked in, didn't it? Because he knew other people that were going through troubles and needed work. And he suddenly had this opportunity to employ people.
And that's what's so amazing in what it is that you're doing, because I feel like, instead of just being like, here's this paycheck, you're creating this culture and this movement to say, you know what, I'm going to help you, but now what I want you to do now is help other people.
Exactly.
And that's just...
I love that you just touched on a movement.
Yeah.
Because true success is really defined by this pay it forward method. And I guess the term movement is just feels like humanity working together.
Exactly.
And it sounds big and it sounds unreachable sometimes, but I'm like, it happens with stories like this. And then that person went and hired people to work with him.
Exactly. And then those people then, they might be struggling, and that's okay, because we're there to support that business owner now. And then those people, then we put them through the investment cycle. We talk to them about their dreams. What do they want to achieve? It might be a job. They might want to be, an engineer or a pilot, or it might be a business, and we build that business for them. So...
and I know this is like one of your quotes that you have, where you said the big difference between the rich and the poor is action and opportunities. So I guess, what would be your advice? Because you're someone just like the guy you just mentioned, who has had the struggle, who's gone through
Multiple
these
struggles. My God.
Anything that
I'd
could
give
happen.
up, frankly. You get hit that many times, I'm
Exactly.
like, that's resilience. and
Exactly.
Trust.
Yeah, and it feels like you hit a brick wall. What advice would you even give to someone who just feels like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to start.
I get that every day, and I usually say, well, lucky you've met me, because
Yes,
keep
girl.
Let's cheers
pushing.
with that. That's a
Okay,
good one.
right?
That's a good one.
Cheers.
And because they go through this emotional wave of, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. And then they're like, oh, I can't do it. It's too hard. And here I am, like a steam truck. Let's keep moving forward. You are going to go through the highs and lows in life. That's part of it. And that's why that investment is step one, because although the investment has a profit guarantee and will always be on the up, it does have the highs and lows. But it proves time and time again, when you stick at it and you follow the rules of discipline, you will always be successful. So,
Dang.
So tell us about, so in terms of the investment.
Sure.
So case study, I know Ultis works with corporations, it works with people that have no money. So if I come to you through a recommendation, I'm homeless and I have no money, you're obviously taking the initial investment and you're working that with them.
Yes.
At what stage, how does that payback, how do they, obviously, for them to really get into the process, they then, when they get to a certain stage, have to pay you back. So how do you, how does that process
yeah,
work
definitely.
to break
Look,
it down?
It comes down to the individual. When we're dealing with big corporate businesses and driving their strategy, innovation at its finest, because we were having this discussion the other day, actually, that There's nothing stopping an individual in a workplace now leaving, coming to us, and we're creating their business or their dream for them. And that's why big businesses have to get it right. They've got to have a good culture now, and that's what we do with the bigger side of the world. So what happens is we go into these relationships with big businesses that need help. One of them is a big construction company. Now, we've got to look at humanity as one level, because at the end of the day, we're all humans, no matter what
Just say
position.
that to that camera, because I think that's a huge takeaway.
Yeah.
Say that. Say the humanity comment, because I think that's beautiful.
We've got to look at humanity like one level, because we're all human. And at the end of the day, we all go through the same emotional waves, whether we're rich or poor.
Ooh, girl.
All right, continue. But
Yes,
that was
hit the
profound.
nail on the
That
head.
was
Wow,
profound.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think that, that's beautiful. So yeah, continue.
Well, with this big construction company, again, we all go through the same waves. Everybody looks at the director that he's rich and he's wealthy and he has everything.
Top dog.
Okay, the
Yeah.
top dog.
Okay.
He's going through the same problems at home, in family, with depression, with negative thoughts, with everything else. We're all human. We go through the emotional wave. And then I walk into his life. Don't know how, fate again. But I said to him that it's not meant to be this hard. Life is not meant to be this hard.
Yeah,
Let me-
right? Preaching to the choir over here.
It is not meant to. And again, I think he just thought, this is too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And, I kept working with him and kept keeping in touch with him. And now every time I speak to him, once he joined the investment, took him about 6 weeks to make the decision, it's not a, hi, good morning. It's, how good is the investment? That is the opening line every day because of the daily returns. And then he said that the investment's providing him more of a wage than what the business did, because don't forget, we were going through the rebuild phase of his business. He had gone through a lot of toxic troubles in the industry. He was facing bankruptcy. And I said to him, if we simplify everything and drive this strategy, if I get involved, I want this company hitting 200 million a year. And he just looked at me like, who are you?
A dreamer.
Exactly. A
Big
dreamer, a doer, and a believer. And I'm going to do it.
I need a t-shirt. A dreamer, a doer, and a believer. Yes.
Anyway, 6 weeks it took. 6 weeks. And now it's projecting $20 million per month. Now, by us driving that strategy and helping that big business, our fee that we get out of it goes straight back into the back end of Ultis, and suddenly we have the capital to help the other people.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Exactly.
Now, that's what I wanted to get out, because I think when you look at it like that, it is the 1% finally it's distributing the investment.
And that's what's happening, because that 1% still has problems. When you sit at a dinner table with them, they're like, oh, my staff are leaving. And I just sit there going, because you need to improve on your culture. Like, bird's eye view, come on, keep people happy.
It's the culture.
Yes,
There
is
is.
nothing stopping. And it was the same thing with my lawn mowing man. He could have stayed in a job. He could have gone into a normal 9 to 5 job. But he had a lot of problems. He had to look after himself first. And then we built him a life that he loved. Now, every other employee can do that if they've got a dream. So with big business, the challenge is now to have that culture to be a place that people want to work.
Exactly.
So
That's so true, because you look at a lot of places, most people are so unhappy to go to work. But when you do build that culture, it makes it exciting, because work is not supposed to be something where like, oh, I have to go today. It should be something that is like, I'm looking forward to it. And that's how you build it. And it's so amazing that, I can see your energy and everything that you're teaching these people to be able to run their business, to have that culture.
Exactly.
Like how you have a culture with your business. I think
Exactly.
that's
Let's come into
amazing.
work here,
And it's definitely separating everybody's worrying about money, how am I going to pay the bills, everything like that. So we separate that with the investment, and then we say, what do you actually want to do with your life? And they don't have to stress about looking for another job because they need more money to pay the bills. They can actually enjoy their job without stressing.
Because the stress is real.
The stress is real.
you basically taking out that eternal worry that every human being has.
Yes.
Money.
That how am I, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, and we all have it. Let's be honest. There's peaks and troughs of life. And that's why I think it's like, no matter who you are, This is something very interesting because it basically is giving you freedom to pursue
Exactly.
something,
Exactly.
to pursue really whatever it is you want. But at the same time, it's not without a kind of backbone of, I don't like to say rules, conditions, but kind of
Discipline.
guidelines,
Exactly.
discipline. So take us through, I guess, when you're working with somebody, there's no distinction. The same disciplines apply to top and bottom. So take us through, I believe it's like a 5-step process that you have in terms of from investment to that, to work with you, what you expect from people.
Okay. So I think the number one rule in life, in success, no matter what your dream is in life, is discipline. You've got to be disciplined in order to achieve that goal that you're working towards.
Tell us, preach that
Right?
and stamp that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Exactly. Now, when people come to us, they're either the top 1% or they're everybody else that we fit into that category. And the biggest question we've got for them is, tell us more about you. What have you been through? And what do you want to achieve? What are your goals? Because it is okay to want to be selfish, because some people are. They can only think about themselves, because with Ultis, naturally, we're making them selfless. We're paying it forward for them.
Yeah.
I think people are almost too scared to ask for help. And that's why we're so raw and comforting with our process. We keep it easy, we keep it simple, no matter who it is. So we want to know who they are, what is their current situation, and we say to them, please be honest, because we've dealt with everyone. We've dealt with people in prison, we've dealt with addicts, we've dealt with disability, we've dealt with everyone. Please be honest, but just know if we take you on, no lying to us. Even your mistakes, put your hand up and just be honest, because that's about discipline.
Yeah.
Now, we've got very simple rules. One, be kind. If we see you acting out of place in community, doesn't matter if you're the richest person in the world, you'll get cut off. Does not matter. It's almost like we're the gatekeeper to an investment or a world that everyone wants, but they've got to be kind. And that's what it comes down to.
And I appreciate that, because I feel like you should treat the janitor the same
Everyone
way
the
that
same.
you treat the CEO, because it's the same person. So just because they have a different level doesn't mean that someone should get, special treatment. Everyone should be treated equally.
Exactly. And it comes down to that. It's just that decision to act upon, because we proved it with person A and person B. Person B was an engineer, well qualified, well employed. Person A was homeless. And in 3 weeks, person A went to $10,000 a week because he decided to act on opportunity. And person B is still on $2,500 a week. And it just comes down to, it does not matter who you are or what position you're in, we are here to help you. And it happens with everyone, the rich and the poor. The conversations that I have with some of the world's, richest, more wealthy, prominent people is they're lonely, because what we've realised is travelling to India when you're visiting the slums in big communities or third world countries is they're rich in life but poor in money.
Girl,
you're coming out with
I'm gonna need another.
It's so beautiful to understand. That's another cheers moment, because it's profound.
Yeah.
What you're doing is profound. And it's not, when you break it down, it really isn't that complex. It's about kind of taking a jump and trusting, yes, in the process and the understanding of that, but trusting in yourself. Knowing that, like, if I take a jump, they're taking jumps to make wrong decisions, so why not take a jump to try the other?
Exactly.
Try the other way.
What's the worst that is going to happen?
It won't work.
Exactly.
Plenty of stuff doesn't work.
But, they say most dreams live at the cemetery, because people take it because they're so
I'm
scared.
going to give you a cheers on that. That's a good one.
I mean, it's the truth, because most people are just afraid, and especially I feel like, when someone has gone through, like, the person A example that you gave, it's just so hard, because you feel like you've gone through everything. There's no...
Life's over.
Life is over.
Yeah.
So, I think that that's amazing with what you're doing, and it's such a niche. Like, I've never heard of anything.
We don't know a company or an organisation that does what we do. And don't forget, governments have their systems to help these types of people that need help. But when I'm speaking to them, they've said that everyone else has given up on them, whether they've made further mistakes, I don't know, or no one cares. And that's okay, but it comes down to, you need to want to improve your life. No one can force you. And it's a good thing that the investment's there, because if that person doesn't want to
Correct.
work, they can still live independently as well. So,
Ooh.
It's an interesting kind of juxtaposition between, breaking the layers down and looking at people that just feel like nobody's there for them. And all it takes sometimes is human to human contact. And I think
Or
you're
one
great.
person.
One person. But it's like, ultimately, it's like smiling at somebody or something like that. It's what you're creating is very simplistic in nature once you peel it away. And I think ultimately the movement can be as big as the next person that passes it on.
Exactly,
And I think that's
exactly.
exciting to see where this will go. You're here, I know you're here in the States traveling and meeting different people, and what she's going to Union Rescue Mission on Friday to
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
I go there all the time.
Yeah.
to
yeah,
speak,
so we all have
yeah.
a nice synergy. It's for us, we love having business people come through and looking at the
I love business. I love the
she loves
entrepreneur.
that. So
Yeah.
I mean that's and the different ways that people use business to help and give back is what we really thrive on.
Yeah. Well, let's, we're going to switch up the pace
Let's
a
switch
little
it
bit.
a little bit
We're
now.
gonna-
We got deep.
We got deep, so now we're going to lighten the
Shake
moment.
it out, girl.
And we're going to
Get some
Rapid
Oh,
fires
what?
for
She's
you.
awake for Wait, Mama woke up for rapid fire.
rapid fire.
All right, we got some rapid fire. You ready?
But we're still going to keep it like, still a little.
We're taking our clothes off and it's gonna get
Oh.
filthy.
Okay, let's see. If you had to change your name, what would your new name be, and why would you choose that name?
Rapid fire, first
I know.
thought.
Come on, girl.
Oh my
First street
God.
porn star.
Well, honestly,
What is that saying? Wait, first street.
actually,
What is it?
went a long time ago. Don't ask me where it came from, but I was known as Show Pony 60.
We just gonna leave it at that and just go to the next question because that was
Wait.
fire.
Show pony, yes, girl.
All right.
Oh wow, that's for off camera. All right, let's take it a little notch. What is the best gift you've ever received?
Probably kindness, to be absolutely honest. I'm not an objects person, but it's gratitude is becoming very rare.
It is.
It is very rare. And I actually had to go to India, the villages of India, to find it again. And, when I landed in LA, the first place I went to was Skid Row. The first
good.
place.
I mean, yeah, because you'll see in LA,
Yeah.
girl, it's a very special, it's a very amazing place for dreams, but it's very tainted here.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I love that because gratitude, people forget about that.
And it was,
We got one more juiciness.
One more juiciness. Let's see.
That's still on the show pony.
What celebrity would you rate as a perfect 10?
I don't believe anyone's perfect. That's a problem.
I mean,
answer.
that's
Yes.
fair. That's a fair
Yeah.
She's
answer.
consistent.
Right? Okay.
Besides the show pony.
I like that.
She went right off on another tangent.
All right. Cheers to a show.
I was like, well, Miss Show, I want to thank you, number one, for what you're doing. And I
Yes.
want to urge everybody when we drop this to do your research and to look outside the bubbles that we live in, because sometimes it's fascinating to hear stories, and it's you're doing great things and setting a foundation for what can change the world.
Making what success
Exactly.
truly is about giving back. People have this connotation that people who are successful are greedy, and and it's like you are doing something that defines the whole next level of what success is really about.
Exactly.
And paying it forward. On that note, girl, I want you to look right in here and plug your information, your social media, where people can follow you at, and the whole nine.
Okay. Oh, hello. Okay, you can find me at Ultis Pro, which is on Instagram and Facebook, or www.ultis.pro.
And we'll have that in the link in the bottom.
Yes. You guys can follow me at Ariane Andrew and this little sleeping nugget at Glitty Lit.
You can follow me at Matt Dillon 1983, and Mama's done the dip and left me yet again for a guest.
Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you guys next Tuesday on Sippin' the Tea.
Let's cheers it out. Thank you
Cheers,
for coming,
Eve.
my love.
Cheers.
Woo!
Yes.
Yeah, you got the wrong number. Click.